Lorelei, thank you so much first for serving as our CDLS Young Alumni Fellow. It means the world to us. But thank you also for today sharing with us a bit of your journey and how it relates to self-care and how you've now prioritized self-care as a result of some of the things that you've been going through. So I appreciate you sharing that. And oftentimes, when it comes to young leaders, um, and I don't know if you felt this way, but tirelessly serving and helping others, you can feel a sense of guilt if you take that time out to promote your own self care.
Mhm.
What would you say to someone that is feeling that way?
Thank you, Laura, for having me on. And I absolutely felt that way when, especially as a student leader,
Right.
if I was not serving others and I was not trying to make a difference in some other aspect of my life, it was really hard not to feel that guilt
Right.
just to nourish myself.
Mm-hmm.
But especially in the last few years and in my corporate career, I realized that I could not show up as my best self unless I filled my tank.
Right.
I could not show up to work with the creativity, with the ideas, if I didn't take time to go into nature and just reset.
Mm-hmm.
And on my cancer journey, as I talked about, I could not show up as my best self to handle the next treatment if I did not take a moment to pause and heal. So for the students who are struggling with that balance of
Mm-hmm.
serving and the balance of serving themselves,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to remind them that you cannot be your best self if you do not take care of yourself. And guilt is not a serving quality.
Hmm.
A lot of times, guilt might be placed on you because of your own expectations of other people that they don't have.
Right.
So take the time, and I think not only you will appreciate it, but those you serve will appreciate it that much more.
Absolutely. It's almost as if, to better serve others, you need to take care of yourself first. And that's not a
Absolutely.
selfish thing. You're actually better serving others when you're taking that time to decompress.
Absolutely. And
Nice.
like we talked about, it's not just taking a bath, but really checking in with yourself
Right.
mentally, emotionally, physically. Self care looks different for every person.
Right.
So you might not feel that guilty if you take a moment to go for a walk because then you're also nourishing your body.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you understand the importance of it. I think when we feel perhaps guilty, we're not understanding how critical and important it is to who we are as human beings. So definitely appreciate that for sure. You'd also mentioned in your takeaway that creating boundaries can be a very important way to promote your self care. And it might mean being able to say no when you're asked yet again to take on another role or responsibility. So, how have you built up your ability to be assertive and to be able to say no and keep those boundaries up when you are asked to do more?
Absolutely. And boundaries are so important and so difficult to manage sometimes in your personal life, in your professional life. But when it comes to building up my assertiveness or my confidence of having those boundaries, it's really channeling honesty and
Hmm.
transparency. I can think of certain situations with my bosses or my managers in the situation where if I'm honest with where I'm at, what my priorities are, or what I have to give, it makes for a much more beneficial relationship for both of us.
Right.
And then it doesn't make it as hard to say no because they already know where you're coming from. They
Mm-hmm.
know what your goals are.
Right.
And I think sometimes as especially as students, dialing back to that time in my life,
Yeah.
it's hard to say no because you want to say yes to all these opportunities.
Right.
But again, if you take time to pause and sit with yourself and think about what direction do you want to head in and what are the good opportunities that are going to push you there,
Yeah.
I think you'll have less of a struggle saying no to the opportunities that might take you to another direction.
So it almost sounds like setting boundaries is also a practice in prioritization.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today about self-care and again, sharing a bit more about yourself and your journey. We wish you all the best. Thank you so much for serving Ryder.
Well, thank you.